Live from the CBS Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, this is CBS2 News at 5 p.m.
Now at 5, riveting new details from inside the Silver Lake Trader Joe's, where a gunman sparked yesterday's deadly hostage crisis. Good evening, I'm Suzanne Marquez.
And I'm Peter Dowd. Sadness and outrage in the Silver Lake community one day after the Trader Joe's hostage standoff that took the life of a young woman.
We have team coverage beginning with CBS2's Adriana Weingold live outside the store where a manager was killed on the job. Adriana.
Well, an incredible outpouring of love and support out here in Silver Lake. You can see behind me the wall of flowers and messages of support here on the wall from the community. As construction crews board up the windows at the Trader Joe's in Silver Lake, they also moved all of the flowers outside as part of a growing memorial. Community members and co-workers left candles and notes. Silver Lake loves you. Many choking back tears, thinking about the store manager, Melita Corrado, who was shot and killed.
And I just can't imagine what it's, I'm a mother and I have a child near her age, and I can't imagine that he went to work one day and then just this could happen.
On Saturday afternoon, an armed gunman shot his grandma 7 times before kidnapping another woman and leading police on a pursuit, shooting through the back window as he raced through the streets. The suspect crashed outside the Trader Joe's, got into a gun battle with police before running inside and holding some 50 people hostage. 91-year-old Don Coles was caught in the middle of it all.
Naturally, I'm a human being. I felt terror.
Raymond Shanazarian is a security guard here. He wasn't working on Saturday and was overcome with grief. His dear friend and co-worker Melly was shot and killed.
It's like I lost one of my family. Since yesterday, I'm like, even I couldn't drive to come here to see this.
Trader Joe's released a statement saying in part, yesterday marks the saddest day in Trader Joe's history as we mourn the loss of one of our own. Our thoughts are with her family and our crew members and customers who experienced this terrifying and unimaginable ordeal. As for the store here in Silver Lake, it will remain closed until further notice to allow both the community and crew members time to grieve. As for the suspect, he has been identified as 28-year-old Gene Atkins. He was booked for murder. Live in Silver Lake, Adriana Weingold, back to you.
So much heartbreak, Adriana, thanks. And one of the last hostages to come out of the Trader Joe's is one of our colleagues here at CBS2.
Lynn Westifer was among several customers and employees who dropped to the ground when they heard the gunshots. CBS2's Joy Benedict sat down and talked with Lynn this morning.
I just had this resolve that came over me that I am not going to die today and that I'm gonna run.
This hostage never got the chance. Lynn Westifer was trapped inside this Trader Joe's for 3 hours with more than a dozen others as a man with a gun negotiated with police over her life.
He said he was gonna kill us.
She entered the store around 3 Saturday and was in the back when she heard a sound she never thought she'd recognize.
I heard like 5 or 6 gunshots.
She dropped to the floor and hid with a handful of others trying to figure out what was going on as even more gunfire exploded.
And I just thought, this is crazy. Is this really happening?
Then a store employee came and got them.
One by one, we stood up and with our hands up, we walked over to where the gunman was. He wanted us closer to him.
Westifer says the man was ordering 2 employees around, a woman who was interacting with police and a man named Victor who was organizing the hostages.
Victor turned around and said, it's going to be okay, and I'm going to be the last one out of here. And I thought, you're like 23 years old. How do you do that? It was amazing.
The morning after, it's still hard for her to remember every detail, as she is just starting to process the range of emotions that can only come with being a hostage. But she says there are moments that she will never forget.
The really scary part was when he noticed an officer with a rifle on the roof of the cheese store next door. In 5, 4, 3, 2, it escalated to the point where he started counting down that he was going to shoot people.
The SWAT team pushed back, and after more negotiating and a couple of phone calls, things took a turn.
And then like that, Victor said, you want me to choose? And I thought, choose what? What is happening? And Victor turned And he looked at the boy and he said, "I choose you." And they let him go. I was so relieved. I mean, I didn't know what to think.
And at 5:36, it was her turn. She walked out hands high, thankful and angry.
I remember how unimpressive I found him and how I thought, wow, all this for you.
But having lived through it, she says her perspective of this man and the violence he forced on others has changed.
We have an unacceptable tolerance for this in our culture. It is unacceptable. There is no politician on a white horse who's going to ride in with a solution. We have to be the solution.
And she hopes it is change that comes next.
I'm really angry at this guy, but the solution is to care more.
Joy Benedict, CBS 2 News.
Wow. Many questions remain about yesterday's deadly hostage standoff. You can count on CBS 2 News and CBSLA.com to bring you continuing coverage.
What a powerful interview. Moving on, a 67-year-old woman and an 8-year-old boy died today in a house fire in Leimert Park. It happened just before noon in the 3900 block of South 2nd Avenue. Firefighters had the blaze out in just 22 minutes. Family and friends at the scene were devastated by the loss of life. Crews were able to rescue 2 women from the one-story home, and they said they're in fair condition. 2 others inside the home escaped without injury. No word yet on what caused the fire.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is scheduled to speak at the Reagan Library in about an hour.
Yeah, several protesters are there speaking out against Pompeo and the Trump administration. CBS 2's Crystal Cruz is live at CB Valley with more. Crystal.
Hi, you guys. Anytime a supporter drives up to the Reagan Library, this is what they're greeted with. People right here behind me holding some signs like that one that says, "Trump, Putin, Mr. Pompeo, do you serve them or us?" Other people are out here tonight, about 30 protesters. Here's some video at the bottom of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library with other signs like "Welcome, Secretary of Treason." They're protesting President Donald Trump's policies on immigration and the recent separation of parents and children along the border, as well as Trump's remarks after meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in regards to interfering with the 2016 election. Some are calling the president treasonous. Trump. Folks out here are upset with the Secretary of State Michael Pompeo's support for the 45th president.
If Donald Trump wants to be our president, he needs to pick one of these. Otherwise,
Trump is definitely being manipulated by Putin, and he puts Putin over our country. And it's just not okay. Just not okay.
Okay. And back out here live, you can see about 30 folks out here with their signs. Now, Pompeo's event tonight is reportedly sold out. And according to the state government website, Pompeo will talk about supporting the Iranian people. I'm Crystal Cruz, live in Simi Valley tonight. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Crystal. We have some very hot weather headed our way this week. We're looking live at downtown LA. It looks nice and clear out there, but we know it is hot outside. Meteorologist Markina Brown with our first check of the weather. Markina, is it going to get worse?
It is, unfortunately, Suzanne. It's going to get hotter. I don't know about you guys, but it felt a little hotter to me compared to yesterday. And we are just going to continue to climb. The other side of the story, guys, is that just for certain folks, mainly the mountains and deserts, we could see a few isolated showers and storms. As you can see, still a little unstable outside. But of course, the big weather story is going to be the heat. We have an excessive heat warning still in effect. This starts as we get into Monday morning and goes through Thursday. So just this timeline gives you an idea of how long it is going to be hot. We could see at or near record high temperatures for everybody here that you see in the fuchsia color. We are talking about triple digits just about everywhere across the Southland. But who will be the hottest, if that matters? We'll talk about that coming up, and when it'll cool down coming up in just a little bit. Back to you.
Thanks, Markina. They headed to Hawthorne for the Hyperloop. Coming up, student teams from around the world take part in SpaceX's third Hyperloop pod competition.
And SpaceX was flying high on the other side of the country. Another successful Falcon 9 rocket launch. That's next.